guess I'm going to butcher this guy first, huh? Be yourself and don't worry about what others think about you. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. These are phrases and words we've all heard or even told to students or friends or children. These are also things that I personally believe most of us know are not necessarily true. Words do hurt, sometimes far more than a stick or a stone, maybe not physically, but emotionally. And we unfortunately live in a very judgmental society nowadays. We're trying to teach kids not to take things personally, to be themselves, and not care what others think. This can be hard for many. In a perfect world, we would be teaching respect, so there would be no need for kids to stand up for themselves. The fact is that words can create a much more painful and long-lasting wound than a bruise or a broken leg ever will. Bones heal over time, and you might forget about it. Emotional scars are often never completely healed, sticking with the person for their entire life. How many of you feel that your life has been hindered or changed due to hurtful words or judgment of another person? It doesn't necessarily have to be something serious, but something that made you change your mind about doing something that you might have wanted to try, and you later regretted not doing it. Now, how many of you have ever broken a bone? How many of you feel that the broken bone has hindered your journey to where you are now, with the exception of cast or crutches, or reaching for change or playing the guitar? I think the biggest and most obvious result of an emotional wound is suicide. You don't hear stories about little Susie falling off the monkey bars and breaking her arm and going and doing something such as this, just because she couldn't write notes for a few weeks. I mean, let's be real. Who here hasn't thought to themselves, I wish I had a broken arm so I could use a laptop in class or have someone else take notes for me? Suicide is a very real and unfortunately common result of bullying in words. My sophomore year in college, something happened to me. It's still hard to comprehend, and it shouldn't be. I began to like someone. This someone was another boy. I won't lie and say I hadn't questioned it earlier. I had girlfriends in high school and in college. I don't regret any of them, but this was something different, a feeling I was not sure how to embrace, because in such a small town as such as Marinette or Menominee, homosexuality is not a common occurrence. This is something I've not told many people, but I want to share it with you. I met this boy and knew there was something different, something I hadn't felt before, and it just clicked. We hung out a few times, and it didn't take long before people started whispering and gossiping, and nobody likes to be talked about. I had no intentions of coming out or anything like that, but I couldn't stand everything that was being said, and had a terrible breakdown one night. I drove all the way from school back here to home. I sat down with my mom, and she, in a roundabout way, got out what was wrong with me, because I'm not a very good talker when it comes to emotions. As I anticipated, she was totally fine with everything. I sent an email that night to the members of my fraternity because they all meant a lot to me, and I knew they would be there for me and my closest friends. If you've not noticed, I'm a jump in the deep end before testing the water kind of person. I just thought to myself, like a Band-Aid, and get it over with. I told the people I cared about most when I was ready, and let other people find out on their own. All this while, however, there was always one thing stuck in the back of my mind: words. Those words that had been said to me all through high school and middle school. I knew all my friends and family would be okay with it, but the people I was most concerned about were those that didn't matter. The people that taunted me in school, I thought, what are they going to say? I did not want to give them the satisfaction of I told you so, of knowing that they were right. But I've come to realize that they obviously don't matter. They're all gone. I'm in a new place with better people. My fraternity brothers were all extremely supportive and proud of me, as were my close friends and family, and that's all that's necessary. I just had to realize that those that cared didn't matter. Like one of my favorite phrases, those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter. What about the boy? We dated for the next year and a half. I've never learned more about myself or about relationships than I have ever learned in that one. We are no longer together, but I wouldn't change anything I did. I feel I've grown so much as a person in fully being myself. It does come with its challenges in society, and I don't press any buttons to each their own. But I know I will still be judged by others, but now it doesn't bother me because I am who I am, and they can't take that away from me. As long as you're happy with who you are, that is the most important thing you can do to yourself. My main point is to be yourself. I was very into theater and music as a kid and still am, and was on good terms with most of the teachers, and was a good kid, or so I like to think. But I was always being judged because I wasn't into football, basketball, cars, and things like that. I was called names, but not by my friends, and that is where being yourself comes into play. If you have friends that accept you for who you are, that is all you will ever need in the world. I'm going to contradict myself a bit here when I say don't listen to what others have to say about you. You are you. You shouldn't have to assimilate to fit in where you don't belong. I go through life without many cares. I avoid confrontation. This at times can be good and bad. But when I had hurtful words thrown at me, I wouldn't let it show. This is the biggest thing you can do for yourself. Don't give your enemies the satisfaction that they can get to you. I would just ignore it and walk away or keep doing what I was doing. But it would be a bold-faced lie if I told you that I was okay. It killed me inside and tore me apart, but I avoided those that were like that and stuck close to my friends and have a wonderful family beside me. Because of this, I was able to love school and get through it being myself. I'm outgoing and do what I want to do, and I don't really care what others think. If you can get past what others think, it will become a part of who you are, and their words will run off you like water off a duck's bag. Eventually, you'll look up and smile because you're happy to be who you are, and they will have moved on because they couldn't get to you. Middle school and high school are both very hard, lots of emotions and changes going on in your life. But once you get into the real world and off to college and better places, you will blossom in who you were meant to be. You will no longer be forced to be held in a building with all those who you fear or that look down on you for 8 hours a day. The world will become a much brighter place. And friends and parents play a vital role in this as well. Schools are no longer a safe place, as we like to sometimes tell ourselves. If you were out with friends one night and had the option to walk down a dark, wet alley to get home faster or a lighted public street, what would you take? Assuming you take the safe route on the street, think about that dark alley as a hallway for your child or a friend. What if their dark alley is the hallway where they're tormented every day just trying to get to class, and they don't have another option to take the lighted street? We as kids don't talk to our parents about what happens at school, but make sure you try and pay attention to signs of something that could be wrong with your friends or kids or just anybody in general. Changes in behavior, lack of things that they usually like to do, it could save their life. Always reassure friends and family that you're always there for them if ever they need anything. Aside from friends and family to look up to, there's one group of people that I look up to, and that is people with Down syndrome. I'm not glorifying that they were born with the disease. It is sad. But in a sense, I am slightly jealous of how they live their lives so carefree. Unless physically hurt, I don't think I've ever seen a child or person with Down syndrome sad. They always seem to be absolutely happy with everything they have. We have one that works in the cafeteria at school. Everyone loves him, and you can't help but smile when you see him. In a cafeteria full of rowdy college students, he'll be washing tables, and he'll be singing a song at the top of his lungs for everyone to hear. He doesn't care what other people think because he is happy. He has this big tricycle that he rides around campus with big orange flags on the back so you can always see him coming. The other day, on a warm day, I saw him, and there was a girl standing on the back of it, and he was giving her a ride. And he had a smile from ear to ear, and it just warms you up inside to see someone so happy just to have someone on the back of their bicycle. If we could just care a little less about life and the stresses it brings like they do, and just live in the moment and look at the sky and think about everything that we're thankful for and all the good things in our life, I think we'd be a lot happier as a general society. Just think of our very own Randy Coleman. Have you ever seen Randy have a bad day around school? Whenever you see him, you just hear your bark, bark, and it puts a smile on your face no matter what kind of day you're having. A word to parents and teachers and friends before I go. Know that kids are always listening. You may not realize it, but we learn to be who we are through you. Even if you think we're not paying attention, when moms are on the phone with a girlfriend gossiping about what this girl did, or dads are talking about what this guy did at work that was idiotic, we learn that it's okay to talk about people behind their backs and gossip. This, I feel, can be summed up in a quote from the movie Prayers for Bobby, which is based on a true story, in which the mother of Bobby, a very closed-minded and extremely religious woman, loses her son to suicide because he came out to her and she turned him away and told him he had a sickness and that he could be treated. At the end of the movie, after he commits suicide, she realizes what she did and how wrong she was. So she goes to her church and to the news, and she reads to all of them who are equally closed-minded. She says, "Before you echo amen to your home and in a place of worship, think and remember a child is listening. Know that a child or a friend is always listening, and as an adult or an older brother or sister, they will look up to you. So think before you judge others in front of the innocent eyes of a child." Thank you.
Just 1 second.